Hi everyone, Bernard here. I hope you're all staying safe and well, and welcome to my film and TV channel. I hope you enjoy what I've got for you today, and please check out as you're watching this little links on screen as well for different things on my Facebook and Twitter, and of course my football channel as well. And please, all your comments are very welcome. Just let us know and push that subscribe button. Don't forget, please push the subscribe button. Make sure your notifications set to public as well if you want to know when these vlogs are coming out. Push that notification button as well. So anyway, please enjoy. Right, today I'm going to take a look at The Watch. Yeah, you've had, certainly in the US, you've had this for a little while now. It's actually showing on BBC here in the UK. 8 episodes by about 44 minutes approximately. Of course, it's a fantasy police procedural television programme inspired by the Ankh-Morpork City Watch, of course, from the Discworld series of novels by Terry Pratchett. The series was originally developed by BBC for BBC America, premiered on the 3rd of January 2021 over there. It's been so long, I mean, I've not spotted this before now. I must admit, when I was doing my little Freeview TV stuff, it sort of popped up a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, oh, I'll have to watch that, but say I've missed it on. I usually get to watch these things, even if they're in America, etc., but obviously I've missed this somewhere along the line, but probably because there's a film called The Watch, wasn't there? I probably got confused with that over the past few months. Anyway, it's released on BBC iPlayer now in full, so I got to binge watch it, and obviously it's showing weekly, 2 episodes a week currently as I'm recording this on the 20th of August 2021. It's currently showing on BBC, but obviously a couple of episodes every week, so it'll soon get through it, but as I say, it's all available to watch on iPlayer. Yeah, and massive stars, of course, some familiar names. We've got San Adewunmi as Carter Dunn, Matt Berry as the voice of Wayne, a sword, yes, a sword of power, and a Chancellor as Lord Vetinari. Well, there's a weird one. I mean, Lord Vetinari for me was a man, but there you go. This is one of those things. It's license, isn't it? License to do what they want. But Armour Corps is Corporal Angua von Uberwald of the City Watch, of course. Richard Dormer is Captain Sam Vines of the City Watch. A bit more on him later. James Fleet as the Arch-Chancellor of Unsing University. Adam Hugel as Constable Carrot Iron Founderson, newest member of the Watch. Ralph Ineson as the voice of Sergeant Detritus of the City Watch. Joe Eaton Kent as Corporal Cheery Littlebottom. Of course, he is Forensic Officer of the Watch. Ruth Madeley as Throats. Bianca Simone Manny as Wands. Ingrid Oliver as Dr. Crucis. Wendell Pierce as the voice of Death. Yeah, still miss me old Death. Lara Rossi as Lady Sybil Ramkin. Paula Kay as Inigo Skimmer, and Joe Vaz as Urdu Van Pew. Yeah, it's obviously it's a group of misfit cops, let's say, but we know what the Watch is, don't we, if we're ever familiar with Terry Pratchett. But if you're not familiar with Terry Pratchett, a group of misfit cops rise up from the decades of helplessness to save their corrupt city from catastrophe. There you go, of course you do. Yeah, I've just done a quick look at Rotten Tomatoes. It only got a 53% positivity rating, which wasn't fantastic, was it, to be honest with you? An average rating of 5.87 out of 10, so just below that watchable score, but not a total disaster. That's based on 16 critics' reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. One of the freshies was from Jonathan Wilson. I'll talk about another when I conclude this little vlog. Jonathan Wilson from Ready Steady Cut. He said, "There's something going on here, something that'll inevitably displease long-time Pratchett hardcores." It certainly has, but more on that in a moment. But that might just scratch a very peculiar itch for everyone else. The Rotten, Inku Kang from Hollywood Reporter. The Watch is a mostly newbie-friendly initiation into the Discworld universe, but other than its supernatural larks, it fails to convey the magic that's kept audiences coming back for decades. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. As I say, I'm not really into the negativity on this, but as I say, we'll talk about that because I can fully understand it. But we'll talk about that in a bit. The consensus states of all the critics, despite fantastic production design and a solid cast, The Watch simply doesn't capture the wonder, whimsy, and world building of Terry Pratchett's beloved novels. It certainly doesn't. I can't argue with that. The Rotten Tomatoes audience, yeah, not surprisingly, only 39% positivity. So not a lot of love out there from the critics. Basically, it's not a total disaster, but certainly not from the public. And this shows up even more on the Internet Movie Database score, which again is below the 6. It's 5.3 out of 10. But yeah, that's based on 4,624. But what is significant in this is that of that 4,624, almost 25% have marked this 1 out of 10. So you're talking the purists there, aren't you? You're talking the Terry Pratchetts Discworld guys who've said, oh, I don't like this, I'm going to give it 1 out of 10. And that's a little bit unfair in my eyes, but that skewed those figures. So I think that 5.3 out of 10 would have been a little bit higher. I think it would have been up towards a 6 and a bit out of 10. Because if you think of those, of the 4,624, there's 2,599 still scored it 6 or more. But as I said, when you've got over 1,100 people giving it 1 out of 10, it's obviously skewed the score, which has made it a little bit unfair in my eyes. And I think that 5.3 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database is a bit undercooking it because of the total hate, if you like, from some people who obviously do love Discworld and Terry Pratchett and the original characters, etc, etc. So that leads me on to my little reasoning and my little thoughts on this. I only got into... I tried reading Terry Pratchett when I was a younger man, probably when I did a lot of reading. I've always read all my life. When I was in my 20s, I couldn't quite get into it. I'm not sure why, but obviously I revisited the very first book. Obviously, I'd watched the animations. I watched a couple of the real life versions that have shown on TV, etc. So I thought, I'm going to try and get into this. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I started reading and I started listening to it on audio book. So yeah, I got through them all and I loved it. I mean, I grow to love it. I mean, some books were not quite as good as others, but I basically loved the whole series and loved the whole setup. So it's one of those things, this series, that you sort of watch it. Most people watch it with a knowledge, whether it's, say, the guys who give it 1 out of 10 who absolutely love it and live and breathe it, or just with a passing knowledge. I mean, it's the thing with this is it's probably best to watch without too much knowledge. It's best to watch without too much knowledge because I think that's the best way to watch it. And I think if it's made for an American audience, they're perhaps not thinking that obviously it's as probably as popular with the fantasy readers and watchers as it has been over here in the UK. So I think that's pretty much the point. Just have a little bit of a knowledge to watch this. So it's an okay watch if you do have a knowledge of Discworld, but expect your expectations of the characters to be very, very different to what you get on screen. None appear, or at least very few meet the book or film adaptations we've had over the years, etc, etc. There are glimpses, of course, in any of the characters. There are glimpses of what we know, but it is best watched with an open mind and without being too dyed-in-the-wool, stuck in the rut. Oh, I want to see a Discworld. I want to see this put onto screen, etc, etc. So as I said, you just have to try and detach yourself from the books, films and animations when you watch it. Just take it for what it is on its own without trying to compare too much. I'm not going to say it was brilliant. It certainly wasn't brilliant. At times, the 8th episode did just drag a little for me. It certainly picked up a bit towards the end, but I must admit, halfway through episodes, perhaps 3, 4, 5, I was struggling a little bit. It was okay, but the storyline's not overly complex, to be honest with you. And some of the characters, because there's no real depth to some of them. The characters were let down as well, so you sort of weren't getting overly involved with the story or the characters as this was going on. I mean, I sort of just I mean, as I say, all the characters have little problems with them, or big problems with them, but especially people like Angela and obviously Vimes, just obviously totally just have to totally ignore what you've read and what you know about them and just go for what this series is showing them. As they say, it was reasonable. It was sort of reasonable fun once you totally once you forget Discworld. Just forget Discworld and Terry Pratchett, or not forget it, but forget a little bit of it. As I say, it's okay to have a little bit of knowledge, but don't get get too het up on it being what you expect from the books, etc. Let's just say it's like a parallel universe. It's like another writer. It's not Terry Pratchett. It's another writer who's sort of copying Terry Pratchett's ideas in another universe. So if you accept it as that, then I say the 1 out of 10 marks is just a little bit mean, a little bit ridiculous. I think this critique sums up the series from Ed Power of the Daily Telegraph here in the UK that was quoted in Rotten Tomatoes. He said, "The longer the watch goes on, the less resemblance it bears to Pratchett. Nonetheless, it has a quirky humour all of its own, and writer Simon Allen isn't afraid to have fun." So I think that sort of sums it up. As I say, if you're expecting something Terry Pratchett, no. I mean, I'm going to give it my little watchable rating, so I'm going to push up to that 6 out of 10. As I said, it's not as good. I was hoping for a little bit better, even if it was a standalone thing without any Pratchett reference. But yeah, I'm going to give it a watchable rate. It's certainly watchable. I mean, to say anything less than it being watchable is a little bit churlish, in my opinion. Yes, I do hope going forward we do have better Pratchett adaptations and Discworld adaptations. Of course, I'd love to see that. I say, you know, I may one day reread the books or re-listen to the books, etc., etc. You know, all 70, 80 books, whatever. I can't remember how many it was now, but yeah, and I'm sure, of course, I want a better adaptation going forward. But this is something a little bit different, and it's not a total disaster. And it's a homage, isn't it? It's a little homage, but in a quirky way. It's not exactly what you see in the book, is it? It's something totally different. So look at it like that. If you look at it like that, and you've not watched it yet, but if you are a big Terry Pratchett fan and Discworld fan and hated it, I can fully understand it, but I think it's a little bit unfair to be a downer on it. It is just someone's adaptations, just someone's this guy, what's he called now? Simon Allen. It's just his view, and all credit to him for taking it. I mean, me and you could take what Terry Pratchett does, write our own little stories. We're into that sort of thing, and perhaps we'd stick more to what we know. But obviously, all credit to Simon Allen for just being a bit off the wall with it, which is fair enough. Anyway, 6 out of 10 from me. Let me know what you think anyway. As I said, I don't want to upset people and Terry Pratchett fans and say, you know, but I do think it's worthy of watchable rating, a 6 out of 10. Anyway, thanks for watching. What are we going to do the rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Till we meet here again on the Film and TV channel, or perhaps have a look at my Citizen channel, my channel on my football team, Manchester City. Until we do meet, all I ever ask is please stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.